I have had a long week. And for me, right now, filming this, it is Friday evening, and all I want in the world right now is to just have a drink and talk about the Stargate SG-1 episode, The Fifth Race. The Fifth Race is one of my top 20 favorite Stargate SG-1 episodes. And I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, Christina, because that's my name, Christina, 20 is a lot of episodes. And to that I say that 20 just sounds like a lot. Because there were 214 episodes across the entire series, plus 2 sequel movies, so 20 episodes is actually less than 10% of the content. I bought some Grand Marnier to try and be classy, but I've been on a real ginger liqueur kick lately, as you can tell from the mostly empty bottle. Yeah, I'll go with that. The Fifth Race is the 15th episode of Season 2. And in this episode, we first really get to learn about the Ancients. In Season 1's Torment of Teal'c, we learned about the alliance of the 4 races, and then also in Season 1, we met the Nox, and then earlier in Season 2, we met the Asgard. But this is the first episode where we really get to learn about the builders of roads and the creators of the Stargates. I feel like Season 2 is just a really solid season overall. Like, Season 1 kind of continued and expanded upon the events of the original 1994 movie, but Season 2 is where the show really starts to come into its own, and it builds on the momentum of Season 1 while essentially setting up the rest of the series. Like, there are several plot lines from Season 2 that continue throughout the rest of the franchise that we see specifically in this episode. I'm thinking mostly of the Ancients, of course, the network of gate addresses that Jack inputs into the system, and the idea of dialing another chevron to reach another galaxy. Like, those are all really important things, and this is the episode where those plot lines started. At the beginning of this episode, we see Daniel giving a work presentation. Like, this is his boss. These are his colleagues. And it is not going well. Like, General Hammond cuts him off at one point.
That's where these 4 races would...
We all reread the mission reports, Dr. Jackson.
Okay, right.
At another point, Daniel pauses for audience response, and nobody says anything. Then, following Daniel's awkward presentation, SG-1 travels to a planet where Jack accidentally triggers a device that grabs his head and shows him a bunch of lights. Both we, the audience, and SG-1 does not know what has happened at first until they get to the post-mission briefing, and Jack says this.
I am absolutely fine. There is nothing cruvis with me.
I need to get that on a t-shirt because I quote that line and this whole episode all the time. I also love the weird little intonation Richard Dean Anderson uses when he delivers this line.
Teal'c looked, I looked. It grabbed my head, I passed out, I came to, we're here, we're home. Can we go?
Then Jack and Teal'c box, which Jack had to know was a bad idea.
Is my nose bleeding?
You are fine.
But they do it anyway. It is a bad idea, which brings us much comedy. I feel like it takes a very special actor to go from sort of the snarky commander to action hero to this guy in like a bright red, is it a jockstrap or like a cod piece? I would look at that and think of it as more of a cod piece. Richard Dean Anderson is just an absolute treasure.
But you gotta dance.
I do not understand it. Are we preparing to dance or to do battle?
The thing that I love about this line is that Teal'c doesn't sound like he would be opposed to dancing. He just wants to know what is going on. Like, all of this is just ridiculous to him. He doesn't know what they're doing. He doesn't know what boxing is. He doesn't know why he's wearing these gloves, but he put them on anyway. I've said it before, but I will say it again. Teal'c is so adaptable. And I think that's one of my favorite qualities about him, and it's also part of what makes him so funny. But it is a very consistent character trait. Like, Teal'c stays adaptable to different circumstances throughout the entire series. Like, in Window of Opportunity, when Jack is going nuts in the time loop, Teal'c manages to stay pretty level, just getting like a little bit frustrated with the fact that he's getting hit in the face with a door at the start of every loop. And then going all the way to the end of the series, Teal'c lives on that spaceship with everyone else for several decades, stuck in time. And then Teal'c is the one who hits reset to save the day and ends up going all the way back to before they got stuck on that ship. But he is the only one who remembers it. And he just like goes back to work. If I had the patience of Teal'c, I would be unstoppable. But I am Jack O'Neill, just like all the way. Over the course of the episode, Jack slowly loses his ability to speak English, which is kind of the point of the boxing scene.
And bend your corsars. Keep your corsars bent there.
I am unfamiliar with that word.
Instead, he gains the ability to read the alien language that was found on the planet.
Faculatus is Latin for ability. You said you lost the fallatus to speak properly.
Nu anion quietas.
Daniel believes that the people who made this device are the ancients, the builders of roads and the creators of the Stargate, and that this device was basically a repository of all of their knowledge, which has now been downloaded into Jack's brain. And we, the audience, basically know that he's right.
What if these ancients were the alien race who invented the Stargate?
Because I've watched this so many times, I imagine that there is an argument that you could make asking, why did the ancients call themselves ancients if for them it was present day? And my theory for that is that the ancients did not call themselves ancients. They called themselves Anquietas, and the Romans, since they were adapting the ancients' language into their own variation of Latin, just took the term Anquietas and made it mean ancient. And then besides, we learn later that the ancients called themselves Alterans. Initially, Jack using the wrong words is played for humor, and it is pretty funny.
Apparently, I have lost the fallatus to speak properly. That wasn't a joke. I didn't do that on purpose.
But as the condition progresses and we learn that it's degenerative and Jack can neither stop nor control it, it becomes pretty distressing.
Do you know what this means?
No. And I'm just looking at it, and the words pop right into my front.
On a serious note, I've kind of wanted to do a video about Stargate and Alzheimer's, focusing mostly on this episode, The Fifth Race, and the Atlantis episode, The Shrine. And The Shrine is definitely an obvious choice, like the parallel there was very intentional. But I see a lot of that in The Fifth Race and just sort of Jack's behavior and how he does these things and he doesn't know why, and then he gets frustrated and other people get frustrated with him. Like I see a lot of Alzheimer's parallels there. But that would be for another day. So Jack begins to do things without understanding why, as the ancient database kind of slowly takes over his brain. And Daniel stays with him to try and communicate and try to figure out what's going on, while Sam and Teal'c go to another planet to try and find like some type of solution. But while they're there, the DHD breaks, and if they are not able to dial the gate to come home, then they will like cook to death, because it turns out a second sun has risen that they were not able to account for via the MALP, and their gooses may be literally cooked.
Thought our goose was quite literally cooked this time, sir.
They give Sam such weirdly awkward lines sometimes, like props to Amanda Tapping for being able to deliver these things. Ultimately, Jack is able to save himself by tapping into the ancient knowledge that's in his brain and parsing through the database to correctly determine that the Asgard would be able to help him. So the knowledge in his brain leads him to build this device that boosts power to the gate and sends him to the Asgard home planet. He's actually building the power boosting device throughout the episode, and there's kind of just like a fun little mystery of what is he doing? What does this mean? What is that? Is it a lamp?
That's it?
There's also a great bit of Daniel snark in this episode.
Sounds like they have no idea.
Well, actually, it's not no idea, sir. Just not much of one yet.
But we're working on it. Here, you guys can work on this for a while.
What is it?
No idea. Well, actually, not no idea, just not much of one yet, but work on it.
Several interesting things happen with Jack's encounter with the Asgard. The first being that they attribute names to the alliance of the four races.
There was once an alliance of four great races in the galaxy.
The Asgard, the Nox, the Furlings, and the Ancients. I missed my finger when I was counting off like that.
The Nox,
Met them.
the Furlings,
Don't know them.
and the Ancients, the builders of the Stargates.
It's also funny because they're like, wow, we're really surprised that your simple human brain was able to even read enough of the ancient knowledge in order to figure out how to get yourself here. I mean, we've like cut open a bunch of heads and poked a lot of brains, and this still surprises us.
We did not think your brains had advanced even that far.
How is it you know so much about our brains?
Yeah, the Asgard basically implied that they've been coming to Earth and abducting and probing people, and all of those Unsolved Mysteries episodes are correct. The Asgard also have really unexpected feet. Like, I expected their feet to be more human-like, but they're really webbed, like a duck's. I think the Asgard are mostly puppets, like during most of their appearances, so you don't usually see their feet, but since they're CGI in this scene, we do see them, and I noticed it, because it's weird. Let's see that shot panning up the Asgard again, but with different music. I mean, I can't see it. I can't see whatever I did in the editing software, but I'm laughing just thinking about it. And finally, the Asgard state that the people of Earth have now taken the first step towards becoming the fifth race. Hence the episode title.
You have already taken the first steps towards becoming the fifth race.
The Asgard fix Jack's brain with their glowing palms, which I don't remember if that's a thing that we ever see again, and they send him on home. This is also the episode where we see them dial the 8th chevron for the first time. Who else got chills when he says,
Chevron 7 is encoded?
Another component of the episode that I really love is the dynamic between Jack and Daniel. Like, we get some classic Jack Daniel banter.
You just said there's nothing cruvis with you.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Didn't.
Did?
Didn't.
Did?
Cruvis, what is that?
But we also see Daniel intentionally staying behind from a mission because he knows that he is Jack's best chance at, like, having an actual conversation and being able to communicate with somebody. And I think that that is really meaningful. Like, for me, the friendship between Jack and Daniel is essentially the emotional heart of the series. And I do still love the later seasons after Richard Dean Anderson leaves, but it is kind of missing just something a little bit. And that something is the dynamic between Jack and Daniel. And yes, I know they were the two movie characters who came into the series, so there's going to be kind of a focus on them. But I think that the actors and the way these characters specifically were written just have, like, a really good friendship chemistry, and it was just the strongest bond, I think, of the series. I didn't really like Jack and Sam together as a couple. Like, none of SG-1 should have been a couple at any point in time. Like, that is my opinion. I thought they had, like, just the most fantastic team dynamic, and I would have loved, like, some sort of slow burn relationship plotline in the series if it were done correctly. But I think that the team dynamic, with particular emphasis on the friendship between Jack and Daniel, I think that was all just so well done that none of SG-1 should have dated. I lost track of my point. Jack and Daniel's friendship is the emotional heart of the series, for me. You know how when you've watched something so many times, you get really nitpicky about, like, weird little things? And for me, in this episode, that's the scene where they can't find Jack.
Teal'c, you take the gate room.
I'll check the locker room.
Right.
And so Sam tells Teal'c to check the gate room, and then Daniel says he's going to check, like, the locker rooms, and then Sam doesn't say where she's going to go, but she goes to, like, some random little room, and that's where Jack is building the lamp. But she told Teal'c to check the gate room, and I imagine the gate room would be, like, the most secure room in the entire facility. Like, I doubt that Jack could just kind of, like, go in there and hide in a corner. Although maybe their security isn't exactly what I'm assuming it is, considering Jack was able to go into the control room and basically sit down at one of the computers and write an entire program.
What are you doing?
I don't know, sir. You know me and computers.
Colonel, I'm ordering you to stop.
I'd love to, sir, but I can't.
And the response from everyone else was basically just like, hey, no, stop it. Don't do that. You stop that right now, mister. We also see in the beginning of the episode that Jack is the one who walks through the glowing circle and essentially activates the appearance of the device. And that is very internally consistent with the later seasons when we learn that Jack has the ancient gene. I don't think that is a plot line that they had in mind in this particular episode, like this early on in the series, that there was an ancient gene and that Jack had it. But I just think that it tracks nicely. Jack activated the device. Jack has the ancient gene. However, let's not forget the unsung hero of this episode, Daniel's screensaver. Look at it. Look at it.